Moonlight Madness, and today we're doing a reading for water, sun, moon and rising. We're using the Lover's Path Tarot because we're coming into, obviously we're coming into Valentine's Day, by Chris Walder. And so I pulled the first card. Your first card come up as you, the Queen of Cups. Someone who is a child of the moon, Scorpio, Cancer and Pisces, child of the moon. Very much a person that reads people better than they read themselves. They're afflicted by the cycles of the moon. We've just come out of the 10th of February as a full moon in lunar eclipse for the Chinese New Year. So I've got my little shell to represent that, and my smoky quartz from, I think, Rainbow Runner, might be from some other market in Brisbane. Queen of Cups is one of those people that is essentially burnt out, always tired, always overwhelmed, because she's trying to get around so many people. She's so intuitive, she knows what you're thinking before you even know what you're thinking, and she'll call it out. And it's just how she operates, because she travels on the cycles of the moon. So we've just come out of the lunar cycle on the 10th, and we're into Aquarian season, going now into, very soon in the next 2 weeks we'll go into Pisces season. So if you've got Pisces strong in your chart, I think this is why it's come up, and you may have a Cancer moon as well. I have 3 placements in water. I have Aquarius with Pisces, Cancer and Scorpio. So I've got all 3 placements. You guys always look out for people. You're very caring. You may work in the industry of caring for others. You may be a beauty therapist, a nurse or a disability support worker, because that's what those caring people do. Unfortunately, they get very drained because they're trying to give to everyone, and yet they can't even give to themselves because they're so drained. And when it's a full moon, they struggle more than anyone because they're affected by the moon cycles. You may be affected strongly by the moon cycles. It's telling you to kind of pull back for a bit, because you need to pull back your energy so you can look after your own self without trying to look after everyone else's energies as well. Like, we can't do everything for everyone. Everyone has to, they're adults. They need to seek out support, and if they need therapy, well, they seek out therapy. I'm a beauty therapist. I'm not a trained therapist. So I've told, my family members, reach out to Lifeline. There's a way to have it just between you and someone else, and it doesn't get recorded, so it's completely secure. No one gets to know your information. You've got a selection of buttons to push, and one of them is, I don't want this shared with anyone else. This is my information, I don't want it taped. So what I've got recently, because this is a new spread, I'm still learning it, I've got here the 6 of Swords. So maybe you were looking at travel. Something to do with travel. You may want to do travel, movement, transitions that go smoothly, new knowledge that helps one move beyond current situations. You may want to move. In the past, you may have wanted to move from a hot climate to a cold climate, or a cold climate to a hot climate. It talks about the travel industry. So 6 of Arrows, it talks about movement, and you may have recently just gone through this. You may have moved, and you may have gotten some sort of good movement out of bad situations. You may have had a great loss in the past. You've got 8 of Cups. This is like detachment, leaving the 5 Cups remaining, and you leave them behind so you can go off and do your journey, because you may have gone through a death in the family. I've got transformation. You may have grieved or are grieving someone that you've recently lost. And with that, I've got Black Obsidian, which helps with grief and transformation. And you may have been dealing with a Scorpion recently, because Scorpions are all about transformation and loss. And Scorpios are very similar to air signs. They can detach very easily, and they're very emotional, but they don't always wear their heart on their sleeve. So they come across as quite cold. They're not cold, they just don't want to attach to anything or anyone. So Cups talks about 8 months ago. 8 months ago, you may have been grieving the loss of a friendship or a relationship with a Scorpio, Pisces or Cancer person that may have been a child of yours. We've got 4 of Cups. You may be struggling with sleep right now. 4 of Cups talks about apathy and death and loss of libido. So for the next 4 next 4 months, you may be grieving the loss of a parent, grandparent, person that you really loved and you're struggling with sleep. So what I put on that was Howlite. Howlite's really good to invoke sleep. And then we've got his power couple. You may be interested in someone who is very similar to you, who is a psychic medium like you, or very spiritually connected. You may have connected online. You may be older than them. They may be younger than you, but you connected on the same passion and belief system, which is the power couple, Arthur and Guinevere. Arthur and Guinevere got together, and Guinevere was in love with Lancelot. It was not a perfect match, but Merlin foresaw that they would produce kings and queens of future generations. He fell in love with Guinevere, and Guinevere was in love with Lancelot. But because she was younger than him, but they made it work. They were a power couple. He was the emperor, she was the empress, and it worked. And I think she still had Lancelot on the side. Maybe you're a part of a threesome, a polyamorous, I can't pronounce it, a three-way relationship where someone's married and they're younger than you, and you're older than them, but they're interested in you. And they may have met you online. Then you've got the reason you're interested in them and they're interested in you is because you are both very psychic. He's older. Merlin was older than Vivian, and it's based on magical abilities. You may have a similar magical. He may be a warlock. You may be a witch. Your intuitive levels, which I put with lapis lazuli, your intuition is like off the charts, and maybe you come together on an astral plane, or you see each other daily because you're so entranced, entrapped in both the energies. Merlin was a teacher. You may be a teacher of online how to read tarot because you're older, you're an older generation, and he's a younger generation because he's come up as an innocent, and the innocent is that he's younger than you. You're in love with someone that's younger than you, and he's called a Prince of Staves, which is a prince of Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo energy. He may have inherited this gift as you have, and this is why you get along so well. He may have seen you as a friend, and maybe you friend zoned him because he was too young, but he saw you as more than a friend, and possibly he was already married or in another relationship. The Prince of Staves is, full of energy. He likes to flip from this to that. He doesn't like to stay in one place for too long, and he doesn't like to get tied down, but he's all about being honest and true, and a knight in shining armour. He's your knight in shining armour. He's coming through very strongly right now to try and protect you. So I picked up the chameleon, which is all about passion. Maybe he stirs your passion that you may have put to bed a long time ago. He's awoken you to your, you may have fire in your chart. I know I've got Sagittarius and I have Aries as my ascendant. So he may have awoken those planetary actions in you to reach out to him, and he reached out to you to try and spark that, again, inherited gift which you both have. But right now he's feeling a little bit snowed under. He's trying to do his job. He wants to see you, he wants to be around you, but he doesn't feel like he has enough to offer you because he's from an inherited line of wealth, whereas you may not have the same wealth as him. You like to be single. This is what he knows. He knows that you like your single freedom because you're a single person, and maybe you were a single parent, and maybe you've always been on your own. You don't like people helping you. You don't like people trying to do things for you. You're so independent. This upsets him because he wants to be the protector of you because he's water, and he's what Scorpio with Prince of Staves. He's Scorpio with Sagittarian heavily in his chart. He wants to protect you, not control you, but protect you. So he struggles with that, and he doesn't want anyone else to have you. Then you've got a King of Staves. Again, there's someone else around you that's older, an older person, maybe you knew them in a past life or you used to date them, that is looking at you and trying to stop this union. He may be a Leo, Aries, Sagittarian energy. He likes to be the star of the show. He likes to be on stage, and he doesn't like anyone upstaging him because he's the king of Wands, he's a big dick energy. He likes to spread his seed around, if that makes sense to you, and that's why you got rid of him. You may have a strong Virgo in your chart. We've got contemplation. Contemplation is the Virgo looking and assessing both people. She's trying to decide between the two of them. I know she won't choose the older one because the older one played up on her and was a player. She knows that the younger one has the maturity of, well, he's young, but he has the maturity of an older person, which is why it's a perfect match. And they're both spiritual beings. The older one has not got a spiritual bone in his body. He can't understand where she's coming from. In fact, he's kind of scared of her ability, whereas the younger fire sign, who also is water with fire, understands her ability because he's also a psychic medium. It is a perfect Emperor-Empress match. So I'm hoping you two can work it out. That's all I have for you for fire. Sun, Moon and Rising. Moonlight Madness. The deck I'm using is Chris Walker, the Lovers Tarot for the month of February.